Pod Bay Door, a Las Vegas podcast. No, the announcement I actually sent you.
Oh, yes.
She's back, John.
She's back.
Charo is downtown.
Back from the dead.
Yes.
Again.
Are they going to have a problem with providing the fact that they are safe to travel and safe to stay at their chosen hotel?
The domestic traveler, most of them, probably not.
Yeah. Yeah, we took a little bit of a hiatus.
Yeah.
And we've both been, busy, obviously.
Yeah. I haven't gone anywhere.
I haven't gone anywhere either.
Well, you went to Cancun,
I did.
didn't you?
Well, that's true. I did go to Cancun almost a year.
To the day you went back the first time.
When
how was it compared the two?
It was. I compare it to Las Vegas because I have checked into. Oh, since a year ago. Actually, well, no, since 6 months ago. I have checked into upwards of 5 hotels of varying standards.
Yeah.
And in Las Vegas. And I have to say that the Cancun resort where I was staying, and again, I went there as an anniversary of the wedding we went there the first time for.
Yeah.
And the Cancun resort is family owned. So it is not a large corporation, but they are a large corporation that owns several high-end properties. But they were hands above in COVID procedures than the Las Vegas hotels. I mean, to the point where when I checked in, the young lady, we were seated at a table. It's not like a line. Okay. So there's not a lot of people checking in, but they were seated at a table. And we were checking in, and there was a gentleman standing right next to the person checking us in, washing and disinfecting everything everybody touched, including my passport. And it just started there. Yeah. Now, they, for people who don't know, traveling outside, Las Vegas, especially Cancun, especially those resorts, they offer free testing. You have to get tested still to get back in the United States. Right. The testing was real. What we thought it was going to be, test, you're fine, get on the plane. Not true. It was a full jam that straw right up to your brain test, and it was a rapid test, and they gave us the results almost immediately. Plus, they put a paper under our door so we could have several types of proof. We had an email proof and we had a hard copy proof, and they conducted themselves, I think, perfectly for what was happening. Now, the masks were suggested and requested, but they were not forced on us. And there was only one situation where they were having a relatively large event. It's not really an event. They have music in this square. Yeah. And we started wearing the mask, but then we realized we could cordon ourselves into a little sort of area and not have to worry about it. And then the employees at the resort wore them seemingly 24 hours a day. Yeah. So now, fast forward to Las Vegas. Las Vegas, they are trying.
Now, is it an economy of scale because we have so many more people?
Yes,
so many more rooms. Yeah,
I have to admit that has to be a large factor.
Yeah,
but the Las Vegas hotels, they're just not good yet at it, and I don't know why. Maybe because, as you said, the volume is far different. Yeah, but I don't know. The Cancun resorts seem to want us more. I mean, when they were loath to send out the notices about the testing procedure getting back in the United States. And they even told us when we were there, they lost a tremendous percentage of people that were coming. And then the testing procedure, the mandatory testing. And then a lot of people said, oh, forget that. I'm not going through all that just to, go to Mexico.
Yeah, yeah.
And so they made us feel welcome and wanted. And the times that I have checked into Las Vegas, everybody seemed inconvenienced, which it is. It's a terrible inconvenience, the whole thing. But we're just not good at it yet, and we should be. We should be better at it.
Yeah.
Now, we, obviously, I've worked, for the past year up to and including 2 days ago. And what's nice is, for example, the Cosmopolitan Hotel is offering, not offering, they are providing the inoculations, the vaccines to their workers. You're scheduled and you get your vaccines and everything's all set. So, I mean, it's very safe as it can get to go there. Their cleaning procedures are pretty good, they're pretty good. But it just seems like, I don't know. It just seems like they're not thrilled to be back to work. Now, Resorts World opening.
Yeah, they're going to open June 24th,
Yes.
I think. Yeah.
And of course that's after our June 1st, statewide change.
Yeah.
I saw a guy, oh man. This is gonna be, the story of I'd say the next couple of months. I saw a guy at Walmart. I heard a guy at Walmart just blowing a tube and saying that he was wrong on two fronts. He said, you don't have to wear masks now. He's like, well, actually, it's June 1st when everything changes, and yes, you will still have to wear a mask after June 1st.
Yeah.
And but Resorts World, I think, is going to mark. It has to for our town to be successful again. It's going to mark the beginning of the new Vegas.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, are they going to have they were originally going to have like a replica of the Great Wall. Did they do away with that?
You know what?
So.
I've yet to go there. I'm scheduled, for some work.
Yeah.
But I don't have that answer yet. Now, I don't know. I've been kind of monitoring our not partner, but our colleagues in the podcasting community and everybody else. And they haven't talked much about the specific decor. Right now, the talk is about restaurants.
Yeah, I understand they are going to have a more like a food truck environment for all Asian like street food.
Yes,
like you would see, which was
Hong Kong.
Yes, like you
fair.
find Hong Kong and Southeast Asia, which is great if they can pull it off. But they're not going to have the rats and the other things which really add to the ambiance. Yeah. At least I hope they don't have those. But the ambiance.
Hong Kong and New York rats. We're gonna miss them.
I was in Malaysia, and they would have the street vendors, and what they would do at night, and it was on the island of Penang, in Malaysia, and it's the city of Georgetown, and they would get the food when they were okay. I'm gonna close up at night.
Yeah,
and they would just dump it in the street.
Yeah,
and you go to a bar. Well, I did, and I'm going back to this dump that I'm staying in, and you would see these mounds of garbage, and they would be absolutely writhing.
Yo, sure.
Because you come out there, oh, is that a cat?
Yeah.
No, it's a rat.
Yeah.
That just the size of a cat. And, oh, Jesus Christ. They're just running all over.
The many, many times I have been to New York. Of course, summer is the worst time to go. But I've been there during summer, and it's the same. Not the size, though. I mean, I've seen the cat-sized rats. But it's just this, this seething, writhing, but they're tiny. They're little mouse rats.
Yeah.
No, it will. It's obviously going to be a sparkling, clean environment.
Yeah.
Now, I find it interesting.
Yeah.
No one's talking about it, and I probably shouldn't. And they're going to attack both of us, as we come back to work here, for being negative. But obviously, Resorts World has, well, not obviously. If you don't know, Resorts World is going to have an all Asian theme.
Yeah.
For the most part.
But they're owned by out of Hong Kong, aren't they?
Yes, yes. So it's going to be just colorful, and it's going to the ambiance. It's not going to be a cacophony of music and everything else. It's going to be well balanced. But what they haven't talked about, like you said, the food truck environment, sort of that open, fair street stuff, is the fact that a lot of our problems not necessarily COVID, but possibly COVID, because nobody really knows. But a lot of our
The
problems
open market
is
started
the
it.
open markets,
Yeah,
you know,
the
and
wet market.
yeah,
as they
the
call
wet.
it.
Oh gosh,
They have them all over Asia. I mean, they had them in Japan.
I know.
Or
I
they,
know.
you know, it was just common and they had the things open on display. And
Yeah, and if you watch, I mean, if you were a fan, as I was, of Andrew Zimmer and
oh yeah,
and Bourdain.
Bourdain, I loved his show. It was
Yeah,
one
but
I
all
really
of his
miss
shows
him.
were
Yeah,
fantastic.
Yeah.
They went to those places.
And that was the thing I really admired about Anthony Bourdain, because
Yeah.
he would go to countries, and here he was, a trained, you know, high-end elitist chef.
Yeah.
And he went to the Philippines and he ate at Jollibee. Jollibee's like McDonald's. They've got a couple here. They've got one
Yeah.
they opened in Henderson not long
Okay.
ago, and they've got one in Las Vegas.
Jollibee?
Jollibee. It's
Okay.
the fast food. And they have the happy spaghetti, which is probably the worst spaghetti on the planet.
Oh, is it with like ketchup?
Yeah, something like that. Or I mean, I honestly haven't had it, but I know people say it's not very good. Even Filipinos have told me, stay away from the heavy spaghetti. But he ate it.
Yeah.
He ate the heavy spaghetti because, hey, I'm in this country. I'm going to eat
Sure.
the food that they do.
Yeah.
And a lot of that food, some of the best food I ever had, I can remember being in northern Thailand, and there was a young woman selling something off the side of the road, and it was she had it in a plastic bag.
Mm-hmm.
One of them, in one plastic bag, it was sticky rice.
Okay.
And the other plastic bag, it was a kind of a duck marinated in some kind of chili sauce.
Okay.
And I asked her what, and she kind of explains to me what
Yeah.
do you do with this? You know, I got the 2 bags, and then okay, I get it. So I took it back to the room where I was staying. It was amazing.
Yeah.
It was so good. Well, you know, because you didn't say, I don't want to eat the duck. I would eat chicken back then.
Yeah.
But the duck was a little bit greasy, but that was it, because the spices, they cut it down. They cut down the grease.
Right.
And because of the sticky rice, it all went together. It was just, it was poetry. It was poetry and food when you combine those two. And I went back again and I got some more. And I thought, still to this day, I remembered, I said, man, that was amazing.
Yeah. Now the Asian community, the Asian food community is, you know, and again, I'm going to get bombed on this, but to me, the Asian food community is not necessarily known for their desserts.
Yeah, I would say that.
Not really.
Certain ones, yeah.
And the desserts they do have are not like, of course, American desserts. They're not just wrought with sugar. And I had sweet sticky rice and mangoes.
Yeah, that's a Thai. And depending on where you get it, it can be really good or just so-so.
Yeah, and I was fortunate. It was very good. Now, speaking of the food, which is a big part of Las Vegas, and a missing part.
Yeah.
Because we're not there yet.
No.
You know, the restaurants.
And, you know, getting back where people said that we were negative, and we were saying last year, don't come back till January.
Right.
And we were being optimistic, because really we should have said, well, you know, we looked in the crystal ball.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw it was a month that started with a J. So we were we said January, probably June, July.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
You know,
to where we are fully back and we're ready to embrace what we had. Yeah, I think so.
Or January of next year will be fully.
Oh my
I mean,
gosh,
you're going to get a much better
so.
view of, because, you know, even in January, our infection rate was over 20%.
Mm-hmm.
And it did dip last month down to 4.5, 4.2 or something.
Yes.
And now it's back up again.
Yes.
It's back up a little bit over 5.
Yeah.
But now you've been fully vaccinated. You got both of your shots. I've got one. And by the time this podcast gets you posted, I'll have my second.
Yes.
So more and more people are getting, you know, being vaccinated.
Oh, absolutely. And I don't, I definitely have some discussion about the vaccination thing a little bit different about, it's about travel. And travel here. But I have spoken to or overheard very few anti-COVID vaccinations.
Yeah, and there's a difference
there.
There
is.
And that's what bothers me when people get silenced or let's cancel them or cancel their Twitter account or just brandish them because, you know, they say, but no, I mean, even the information they hand out after you get your shot says this has not been FDA approved. Pfizer has not been FDA approved. It was emergency approval.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So it hasn't gone through everything. So,
right. You know, our mutual friend Fred, who I heard from recently, he made a great joke, and he was talking about his family getting the vaccines, and he wrote to me. I asked him, I said, "Have you had your vaccine?" He says, "Yes, I have my second tracker installed on Friday."
Yeah,
you know, it's just nonsense. It's just nonsense. But what I like to hear from the people that I'm exposed to, for lack of a better term, in the Las Vegas community, in the
Yeah.
Las Vegas casino and hotel community, is that they are predominantly for it. Obviously, because it not only means that there is some level of safety, it means that we can move on. We whether you believe it or not, whether you think you're getting, suddenly you're on the grid or not, we get our lives back.
Yeah. Because otherwise, I mean, with the variants, I mean, it is concerning.
Well, India has a
but-
problem right now.
Yeah.
Big problem.
Well, and they got a lot of people.
Yeah.
And they got a lot of poor people.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's not good. And other countries, Russia and China, they have their own vaccines, which are working. So China, things have pretty much gone back to normal, because when they shut things down, they shut things down.
Yeah.
Not like it is here, where it's just half-assed.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with. It's almost like you see on an individual basis. Somebody says, "Yeah, I'm going to go on a diet. I'm going to lose weight. Hey, have you seen Marty lately? He looks great." Like, well, now you gained all the weight back because he's not willing
Right.
to stick to anything.
Yeah.
And even the issues they've had with Johnson and Johnson vaccine.
Yes.
Okay, well, they've limited it. The only people who've gotten the blood clots, or seriously enough, have been women of, not just women of childbearing years, but obese women.
Yes.
They are clinically obese.
Yeah.
Again, Mother Nature doesn't like fat people. Don't complain to me. I'm not the one gave them the blood clots, right? I'm Johnson and Johnson. You want to blame?
Yeah.
I'm just saying that's what I mean. If you don't belong to that demographic,
Yeah.
probably not going to get it. You don't have to worry about it.
Agreed. And like I said, I am really happy to see the my Las Vegas community embracing it, so we can all get back. There are a few people, and again, we'll talk about this a little bit later in the podcast, but there are a few people that have some interesting views, and I'm really curious how they got there, because their fellow human beings are not good at being, if you don't want the vaccine, you need to follow the other rules. But we're just not good at it, But
what's interesting is of course one of the anti COVID or hoaxers, was Ted Nugent.
Yes.
Who recently was diagnosed with COVID.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah,
Okay.
he said, "I thought I was going to die."
Uh-huh.
Now, one of the comments he had made was in the evidence, he was saying that this was all a hoax or whatever.
Uh-huh.
He said, how come we didn't have a shutdown for the first 18 COVIDs? Okay, again, ignorance, thinking that there was a COVID-1 and a COVID-2 and a
Right.
COVID-3, and not that COVID-19
It refers to the year. Yeah.
refers to the year. So it's that kind of ignorance,
Yeah.
It's just like, you might have a perfectly good reason. Like, look, I'm not sure about this. It's,
And that's surprising, because he's not an ignorant man.
He's not stupid. No, he shouldn't be. But you can be blinded by, I watched on Netflix a couple months ago was the Mormon Murders. Did you see that?
I haven't seen it. No.
And okay, it's a good series.
Yeah.
Now, the thing that got me, of course, watching it was they showed, clips of really Mormon beliefs. And you realize, I thought, wow, I thought mainstream Christianity was full of shit.
Yeah.
Who can believe this? And yeah, to me, it's just ridiculous that you can get some people who really, you can't really believe that, do you? That he was told where there were these gold plates buried, and he dug them up, and he translated them, and you really believe this guy?
I find it interesting that many of the major religions, to go off on a huge tangent, involve space travel.
Yeah.
And getting a ticket to the spaceship.
Well, they all come out of the same barrel. And that's why I always say, I don't care what it is. I treat them all with equal contempt.
Yes, you do, John.
Yeah.
All right. So back to Resort World.
Yeah.
My biggest question, I haven't asked anybody this, because this is the first time I've gotten back to Vegas.
Yeah.
Do you think one of the things that I've learned, especially in the consumer area, as I've done different things, building computers and doing different tech things and getting all set to get back to the full swing of work, is that the manufacturers and the service people and everybody, the hospitality industry, are raising their prices. Because I know the junior sleuths and economists out there again are going to yell at me, but to me, it doesn't make a lot of sense. Yes, I understand that you're selling fewer of whatever item you're selling, may it be hospitality or a graphics processing unit, but you're raising the prices, and you're expecting people to swarm back in your hotel. And I was wondering what you thought about that. Do you think Resorts World is going to come out guns a-blazing and say, welcome to the new Vegas. We're going to have the old Vegas prices, so get your wallets ready.
Yeah.
Or are they going to want more of the lower middle class to come in and enjoy them on a volume level?
Yeah, that's
So what
a
do you
good
think?
question. Well, what they have going against them for this opening, again, we're still, there's still the pandemic,
Mhm.
even, and their location, right there where the old Stardust was. It's kind of the armpit part of there's nothing else around there.
Yeah, the infrastructure is poor.
The closest thing down there is the Stratosphere.
Yeah.
I mean, and then you go the other direction. You got to go quite a ways before you hit the Encore.
Yes.
Right. I mean, and there's just nothing in between except shit. Right. There's empty lots and what in that other dumpy what took place. Wynn bought it out. The empty lot where the Westward Ho used to be.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah, sure.
There's just nothing there. So it's
Yeah.
just like, well, it's one thing if when the Venetian is new, that you can say, hey, I can go down there and go see the new Venetian.
Yeah.
And then right across the street is Treasure Island and the Mirage. We can do all of those. But are you going to make a special trip down there to see Resorts World? What else is there? There's nothing between, the Wynn properties and Resorts World.
Mm-hmm.
There's just nothing there.
Yeah.
So we're seeing so they have that against them, and we already know that they did when SLS, I guess they went back to calling themselves the Sahara.
Sahara, yeah.
When they remodeled, no, it didn't work.
Yeah, it didn't work twice.
Twice.
Yeah.
They're in the armpit area of the strip.
Yeah.
There needs to be some reason to bring people down there.
Well, and that
cheap prices would work.
I do think that. Now, I don't think they should, bottom out of the prices.
No,
obviously, people have to. The whole point of the stimulus packages is to spend. I know people are trying to save their money and feed their kids and everything else, but the point is to get that money back in the economy so everybody can get their jobs back.
Yeah.
But I just worry. And for as much as I've been paying attention to their marketing is flashy. It is quick. It is for the new consumer.
Yeah.
The millennials and beyond or below. And it's really based on sort of just flashing LEDs there.
Oh well, I can see it from my house.
Yes.
And I didn't notice it. All of a sudden I looked and said, wait a minute. That message board wasn't there before.
Right.
And I'm trying to see, I said, maybe the Wynn put it in because I didn't realize it was Resorts World. Because I could see where the Stratosphere was and I knew where the Venetian was. And it looked, I said, well, it's down there, but there's nothing down there. Closest thing would be, did Wynn put that in that lot, or maybe it's there, but then I realized later, no, it's Resorts World.
Resorts World.
Yeah.
So I'm very curious, how they're going to now, obviously, when it opens, it's going to get just flooded with people.
And I hope it does well.
But so did the Lucky Dragon.
Yeah.
Which was an all Asian themed, much smaller. Yeah. And that one
was that one a little off strip.
Well, that was where the Bonanza gift shop was.
Oh,
the world's largest gift shop.
Oh, yeah. We missed that one.
A stone's throw from the Stratosphere.
Yes. And
right.
What is there now? Nothing? Is it just empty?
Well, the building's there.
Yeah.
And
buildings are always
I hear rumors that they're going to try to fill it with something, but everybody I think is waiting with bated breath for Resorts World. Because this is the first brand new full stage casino hotel in they like to say decades, but they don't count Lucky Dragon.
Yeah, and what about the probably since the Cosmo, right? Probably around 2010,
give or take. Yeah, that decade. But everybody's waiting, and I think they're waiting with just
and we also had the Virgin Hotel open. Of course, that had been the Hard Rock. It's not on the Strip, but that reopened. We have Circuit downtown now. I kind of think he's trying. Derek Stevens, trying to introduce some of the old loss leaders, the 99-cent shrimp cocktail, and a few other things. That's great news. I hope that Resorts World does something like that. With hey, let's go, because that was what you did in the old days to get people to come there.
Right.
right? You didn't have very many hotels. You had the dunes, you had the sands, you had a lot of sand in between, right? There was just nothing there.
Right.
And I can remember the first time I came to Las Vegas, 1980-ish, something like that.
Yeah.
The Stardust was big. And then there was the Stardust, and then there was a pretty long way to go before you got to the sands, and not a lot in between, you know, and
No.
then the dunes. And so there weren't, and the Flamingo, but there was a lot of empty space. So,
But I'm very interested now again, deep in the bowels of the Resorts World, meeting rooms,
Yeah.
there's people probably talking about this. Well, if you think about it, who are they going to market to? Are they going to market to the standard everyday $20 to $100 gambler, hotel stayers? Are they people that are going to eat? And what racial diversity? Because if you think about it, right now, considering the Congress just passed the anti-Asian
hate bill.
That has to be a consideration, because are they wanting, you and I both know that when we were at the Venetian and all the way to present, that's what the casinos wanted. They wanted the Asian travelers to come here.
Yeah.
Which is then when they couldn't get them to come here en masse, that's when Macau happened.
Yeah. In fact, Adelson's, even though Sheldon's dead, the Venetian sold off since we had our last podcast. Yes. They sold off our old property. But the irony for me is they were sold to the Apollo Group, right? Mm-hmm. After I worked at the Venetian, I went back to grad school and I worked for McGraw-Hill Education. Mm-hmm. After I left McGraw-Hill Education, they too got bought by the Apollo Group.
The Apollo Group?
Yes.
No, John.
Yes. So they're following me.
Oh,
they're like that shark, just snapping like this, and one step like a fucking Pac-Man. Yeah, those bastards. But anyhow, so they bought the Venetian, but they kept the Macau properties.
Yes.
So, well, in that case, in that area, I always thought that they had cannibalized, their own market, because people weren't, well, why go to the Las Vegas when I could just go there and see the same thing? And I think that was true for a lot of people, but I think the really high-end whale, no. The Mecca of gambling is Las Vegas.
Yeah, exactly.
I went to the real one.
I definitely think that back in the day, you and I both agreed. In fact, a lot of people agreed that they were cutting their nose off despite their face.
Yeah.
But no, they were never going to lose the single whale. The guy because it was there was a level of there was an impression he wanted to make.
Yeah.
He wanted to land, and he wanted to be, brought here on a cloud and then given everything and play baccarat until his eyes fell out.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But I'll find it very interesting. And on the other side of it, will the standard American casino hotel goer, everyday Joe, that comes here, spends the $1,000, well, yeah, I'd say about $1,000 for a 4-day vacation plus some pocket money, is he going to be interested in an all Asian hotel, or is it going to be, this is nice, and do the whole vacation thing where it's like where they went to the Grand Canyon? This is great, let's go.
Yeah.
And so I'm very curious about that. And is there an underlying hatred for the Asian community? Is there something we don't see that's going to stop people from going? It's a very interesting time in Vegas.
Yeah. Well, you know what they really need? They really want to get that feel of Asia.
Yeah.
I know this isn't going to be popular.
Oh God.
They need to have cockfighting. Even if they're robot, they need to have some kind of robot roosters or something. Because man, wherever I've gone, particularly Southeast Asia, whether it's the Philippines, Thailand, there are roosters crowing. I mean, they're at all hours, man. They say, oh, the sun's right. No, it's 2:00 in the morning, because these are the ones that have been raised to fight, and they're just out there. They're just hyped up and all the time. And they love to gamble on that. Those are the little term gamblers. So they don't want to be playing. They're not playing cards. Right, the ones that gamble, even in countries that like the Buddhist countries like Thailand, which looks down on gambling, they will bet on which one of those roosters is going to come out on top of this, and the Muay Thai.
All they need to do is take another cue from Disney and just have the background sounds.
Yes, do something like I said, even if they're automated, or put on the glasses and you can watch a video of it or whatever. But something like that is, they're always Cockfighting. It's Asia, man. Nothing says that.
Well, I think,
and of course the go-go bars, but
oh yes, yeah,
we almost have that. Almost.
Almost. We tried it. I think the go-go the party pits that were the door side near the strip. I think those are maybe
now the
gone.
one thing Resorts World did just the other day was they did announce their headliner schedule. So they are a high-end property.
I saw Celine is part of that.
Celine Dion is going to be part of it.
And
Katy Perry. There's your friend. Her brand. She's a brand. I have to remember that.
Yes.
Is there a little registered trademark after her name?
That's right. Yeah. Now one thing we're forgetting.
And there's a third one, another kind of over the hill. I mean, career-wise.
The country singer Luke.
Is it a guy?
Yeah.
I thought it was another woman.
But we're forgetting one entertainer. That made an announcement even well before that we started.
Diplo?
No, Diplo. No.
Oh, that was the other thing. They announced these. Who is it going to be the headliner? And they're talking about these assholes that show up with a thumb drive. And you stand there and go like this, like they're whipping a rope or something. Those DJs and oh shit.
Yeah, Calvin
Zed
Harris
is going to be there.
Yeah,
fuck him.
No, the announcement. I actually sent you.
Oh yes,
she's back, John.
She's back.
Charo is downtown,
back from the dead again. How many lives does Charo have? That's the thing, Jamey. Shit. She was an old woman 20 years ago.
Yes, she was. Now she is back. Good for her, by the way. Good for her. Now I sent you that.
Just don't sit on my lap again, lady.
Right.
Just don't sit on my lap.
Now let me. I'm just curious. Charo is a very famous Spanish singer.
Yeah.
She is
I think she's Mexican, but she was trained by Andre Segovia, yes, on flamenco
very
guitar.
Much so. She is an accomplished guitarist.
Yes, she had that. Remember, she was a nice lady. No. I mean, how many of the people that performed at the Venetian gave us a sombrero?
Yes,
which she did.
Yes,
a jar of salsa. It was past its expiration date, but nevertheless, it was a nice gesture. And a CD of her guitar songs.
Oh, she was lovely, and I want her to succeed. I think it's wonderful because she is an accomplished musician on many levels.
She plays dumb.
She plays dumb. She plays
the whole coochie
thing. She is actually from Spain, from
is that right?
Murcia, Spain.
Okay.
She is 70 years old.
That's all?
That's all.
Oh, I can't believe that.
Yes, but John, at 70, are you going to get up on stage and coochie?
Yeah, but remember 20 years ago when she sat on my lap, I looked at her and remember she had already had all of that plastic surgery.
Right.
Because she had porn star tits that were bursting out of her top there that had the skin tight like you would expect on somebody 20 years old.
Yeah.
But she had all of this face. I said, Jesus, if she goes into direct sunlight, I think she's just going to turn into dust like Dracula.
Now, I know only our older listeners will care or know about this. Her full name, by the way, which I didn't know, Maria del Rosario Mercedes Pilar Martinez Molina Baeza.
Oh,
that's her full
name.
She was
married to Xavier.
She was married to Xavier Cugat.
Yes.
My mother will know that. Who's listening?
Yes.
And now she's she up until 2019, Kajel Rasten.
Oh.
And so yeah.
Well, she I remember, of course, she was a stalwart on the old Hollywood squares.
Uh-huh.
And when she played the Venetian, and when people come to the desk, invariably, I mean, every third person would say, Charo, I thought she was dead. I would get that. And my line going back, I said, no, that was just her career.
Right.
Now she's resurrected it. But Jesus, she was there. I left a Venetian in 2002.
Yeah.
So we're talking 20 years ago. She's only 70.
I know. Yes.
She's lying about her age because I was just a kid, 12 years old, watching Hollywood Squares when she was on there.
Yeah.
And she had to have been in her 20s or 30s then. She's lying about her age. She's 80.
She's
80 if she's a day. Damn it, she was 80 20 years ago. She
hasn't confirmed. Now what's interesting is that she, a lot of this has been rumor mill coming out of the Best Agency, which I know very well, and we both know it's a talent agency here in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
because there's been casting calls for her show.
Yeah.
And she's in and around Vegasville, hinting strongly at the location called Notoriety at the Neonopolis.
Oh.
So we'll see. Now it's downtown, so it's already not great, but we'll see. We'll see. You think she's lying?
I know she's lying about her age. That'd only make her 8 years older than me. And like I said, she wasn't 20 years old when she was on Hollywood Squares.
I don't know.
I mean, you know, you had to go back and say, wait a minute. No. She wasn't just 8 years old than me. Because like I said, I was watching her as a kid.
Yeah.
And she was an adult. So no.
So, okay. Now we've talked about good luck Resorts World, good luck Charo, good luck everybody. We want everybody to come back and have fun. But let's talk about...
I'm only 40, Jamie. If she's 70, I'm 40 again.
Oh, John. Okay, so to bring about the talk about vaccination passports.
Yeah.
And the need or the mandatory rule of providing vaccination. Let's see what you think about it. Do you think that? Well, what do you think about vaccination passports?
I think for me, I would like to travel internationally again.
Yes.
I think if it lets me get in that country, because I know a lot of countries, even Japan, I can't get in. Can't get in the Philippines because it's just like no foreigners.
You're right.
And those who do have a passport, like my son who wants to go to Japan, he does have the dual citizenship. Right. He has to have a COVID test, even though he's going to have his second vaccination. Probably one of the Japan's only vaccinated 0.1% of their people.
Wow.
They've really dropped the ball on it.
Yeah.
And
why is that?
Who knows? They got the money. They bought the.
What'd they go with?
They went with Pfizer.
Pfizer.
Yeah, they went ahead and bought that. I mean, it's just poor planning. It's That's always been the LDP, the so-called Liberal Democratic Party, which in Japan is really the Republicans.
Sure.
They've run that country since World War II, with one exception. They had a small time when the opposing party was in, but yeah, they do that, and they just shuffle around, and they don't have a fucking clue what to do. But anyhow, if I could show, look, I've already been vaccinated, whatever, doesn't mean, of course, I'm not going to get it, but hey, obviously I've got some protection to it. I know that, I think it was Cambodia, you can get in, they'll let you in, but you have to put down with a negative COVID test, and you have to deposit $2,000 there just in case you get sick and you're going to the hospiel.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's not gonna, that'll go over like a lead balloon.
Yeah, and looking at the I've got the season tickets for the Giants games. Well, I don't go, but I do sell them, and they started to let some people in. Now, normally speaking, the team will sell out almost every game, and there's 42,000 people. They're only allowing at the homestand was 8,000. Okay. So we had tickets. My nephew and I sold them. We lost money on the opening day because what they do now, what baseball teams do, is instead of saying, okay, the tickets are $100 a piece. Okay. For all the games, they see, well, which games are going to be more popular. And then, for example, if you're going to sell the tickets on StubHub, the popular site for selling tickets. Sure. Well, if it's really popular, supply and demand, you'll get more money than the cover price. So they calculated what is the average price for that game, and that's what they charge. So you may pay $100 to go see a team that not many people are interested in seeing. But if it's a rivalry game, the price, same seat, it's $300. Okay. If it's opening day, it's $300. Well, we have trouble selling those because people here are pretty smart. Why should I pay $300? I'll just go the next day when it's $100. Right. But anyhow, they allowed 8,000 people in, and it was fine the first couple of games. But then after that, 3,000 people were showing up. Well, why is that? Well, you either have to have proof that you've been vaccinated, double vaccinated. Right. You have both of your shots. Yeah. Or you have to have a negative COVID test. Okay. And like you're saying, we were talking about Cancun. Who wants to go through that bullshit of having to get the test to come back or whatever it is or go there? Yeah. I'll just wait. Yeah. And that's what's happening in the Bay Area. Yeah. Until people have their 2 shots to show it to them when you get in the park, they won't let you in. They're just saying, I'm not going to show up. So... I what brought this up to me was twofold. One, there's been rumors that our governor's office, and the mayor, have
had earnest discussions about some type of vaccine entry to the hotels.
Yeah, yeah.
So they can avoid the boomerang effect of COVID.
Yeah.
And on the other side of it, I saw a few moments of Joe Rogan's podcast. I don't remember the young man who was on there, but he was vehemently opposed to it. And my problem with why he was opposed to it, he was saying, again, it was infringing upon my rights. And it's just like, well, it's not. Yes, you could interpret that as an infringement upon your rights. However, he kept saying, what do you think, I'm a child? Well, yeah, our country has had a problem with this for the last year, and has been just not taking our knees out from us because we are incapable of doing anything to help ourselves.
Yeah, and that's been the problem. That's,
Yeah.
I mean, you look at other places, like I said, China, they shut down, and a lot of countries where you do see that level of cooperation.
Yeah.
And yes, in theory, had we shut down, I mean, really, really shut down. Nobody leave your house. If you leave, they're going to fucking shoot you on site. Nobody leave. In a month, it would have been over with.
Right.
Because the virus can't survive on its own like that.
Exactly.
If you got sick, tough. Basically, yeah, that's it. Because the threat of it spreading to other people is just too severe. Food or whatever, we have to arrange some kind of delivery, but you don't leave your house. If that had done that for 3 or 4 weeks, in theory, it would have all been over.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is that, you will see signs in restaurants and private businesses, right? No shoes, no socks, no service, whatever it is.
Right.
It's the same thing. No shoes, no vaccination, no service. And the first time, nobody seems to have any issue with that I have the right to refuse service to whoever I don't want in my establishment.
Yeah.
And if you come in here with no shoes on, for example, and I got a restaurant and that violates the health code, can't let you in. You got to go put some shoes on. And we've seen that. Remember, we had Lutece at the Venetian.
Yes.
You have to wear
so many people bailed.
Yeah. I got to wear a necktie. It's 115
yeah.
degrees outside. Well, they have them there hanging up. I don't want to wear that.
Yeah.
So fine, I'll go eat at one of your other 15 restaurants. So they changed
or
for
get
here.
A pizza.
Yeah, or go get a pizza. Right. They changed their but that's their that's their right. So the hotel has the right to protect its guests.
And honestly, getting the shots, you're going to get them anyway. Well, you may not, and that's a personal preference. That's fine. But getting the shots and then taking a picture of your little CDC card and keeping it on your phone, it's not that hard.
No.
It's not that hard. And they're not asking for more than that.
Now, any more than they ask when you check in the hotel for ID.
Yeah.
Well, I had this issue when we worked there where this asshole, he came to the desk and he wanted his tickets that we had in reserve, and I asked him for his ID. What, you don't believe me? And he starts giving me, I said, well, that's not it. I said, I'm here, this is for your protection. So somebody else didn't overhear you and come up there. I don't know who you are. So I just got to verify that I'm giving the tickets to the right person. What's wrong with that? Why are you being such an asshole about it?
Yeah. So what do you think? We both know the travelers and the travel methods and dislikes and likes haven't changed. Not really. Since we were in the throes of working the concierge desk at the Venetian Hotel. Do you think that the bulk of the travelers, set whales aside, set all the special people aside, are going to have a problem with that? Are they going to have a problem with providing the fact that they are safe to travel and safe to stay at their chosen hotel?
The domestic traveler, most of them, probably not.
Yeah.
There will be some, and fine. Wait another year, whatever. Don't come at all. That would be my preference. If you're one of those assholes, just don't come at all.
And leave your car there.
Yeah. Go to somewhere else. Go to the. I don't want to send you on an Indian reservation because I like the Native Americans too much. Go to New Jersey.
Now, do you think the hotels will adopt this? Do you think that? Well, do you think the hotels will adopt this independently of our government?
Well, if all of the hotels did it on the Strip, for example, then personally, I would say at least everybody in this room here, everybody in the restaurant that I'm at, if we all stay here, I know one thing, just like on the airplane, right? One thing about getting on that airplane is everybody tested negative.
Right. Absolutely.
Coming back, so you feel safer that way.
Yeah.
So like saying, I don't know who this guy is next to me. he just coughed or something, or he's got an allergy. I don't know. Maybe he's got COVID. But at least I said, well, he didn't have it as a couple days ago because he tested negative.
Right.
It would be a reassuring feeling. Now, again, it's not 100%, but if I knew that everybody was vaccinated or had proof that they had done something, I would feel much better being there. Now, if it was only 1 or 2 hotels, I can't be sure that other guy in the lobby is staying here. As you know, the Venetian, a lot of the people we dealt with weren't actually even staying there.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's not only a hotel, it's a tourist attraction. So as long as I knew that other hotels did that. But again, still, there's going to be some paranoia.
No, sure.
Well, somebody shows up from Los Angeles and just walks in the door.
Right.
Or wherever. I mean, you're saying they drive in and they haven't been vaccinated.
Well, now here's an article that I found.
Yeah.
It wasn't hard to find. It was at the Review Journal, our own newspaper. Now, this happened on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
The Nevada Gaming Control Board, late Friday, said that the new directive, it will enable the casinos and the hotels 80% occupancy and a 3-foot social distancing requirement.
Yeah, I heard that they want to lower that.
Yeah, and that they will go to 100% when they can verify 60% of the eligible population, which I really find that number dubious.
Yeah.
Has received its first COVID vaccination. Not both of them, just the first one.
Yeah.
So I think the 3-foot thing is kind of silly.
Yeah. Well, better than 6. The one thing I'm not going to miss, well, the couple of things. The nice thing I liked about the mask, I go out, I don't have to shave.
Right.
I got to shave, I look like a bum. So what? No one's going to see, going to wear the mask.
Right.
I'm not going to miss wearing that fucking mask. One thing I'm not going to miss. The one thing I am going to miss are things like the hours only for old people, because I can go during those hours. Although I'm seeing a lot of young people. They're like Charles, but in reverse. Really?
Right.
They're 60? Then what are they doing? Oh, that little baby that they've got? That must be the grandkid. But boy, they don't look any older than about 28 years old. Right? Shopping at the same time. But whatever. And the earlier hours. And I gotta say, shit, I better get to Costco again before they open themselves up to a lot. Well, yeah, you can bring, your kids and your grandkids, and Jesus, it's been nice the last year going there and just having room to maneuver.
Yeah, I've already seen
running over somebody's rug rat with
having
cart.
having constantly gone to the hotels and casinos for the year up to current. I have seen the unfortunate parking and traffic, and it's back. And it's disappointing.
Yeah, but they're still not charging the...
they're not charging yet.
No. I think I saw that Resorts World wasn't going to charge resort fees, or maybe that was a Hard Rock, or the Virgin.
Yeah. We'll see. That's what they announced, but we'll see. Now, parking...
They'll come back sometime.
I think it's I love the fact that they had to drop the parking. They just the argument was taken away from them, and they had to drop the parking no matter what, because it was obviously had to drop it. But I will be very interested to see the first hotel or corporate hotel structure that brings parking back. Yeah, because that is going to be a bad decision.
Now the other news since we had our last podcast was that the Tropicana was sold.
Yes,
and they were bought by Bally's.
Bally's,
yes.
Yeah. So I don't know. Good.
I'm glad that
because
open again.
But I'm tired of non no experience money men, hedge funders, buying these things.
Yeah.
And they don't know what they're doing. So hopefully Bally's Corp will deal with this correctly. I don't know. I never want to see the Trop go. The Trop is such a wonderful place.
It's highly symbolic. That and the Flamingo.
Oh, sure.
Other ones,
And I don't want them to. I don't. Although they've tried to retheme and change it while keeping the Tropicana name, I don't know what's going to work. Nothing has worked thus far. They tried to focus on the pool. That didn't work. They tried to change the color to red. That didn't work. They tried to add restaurants that were hip and trendy.
Work.
That didn't work.
I even went there, wanting to go to the Trop because I was using their parking lot to go to the T-Mobile. Right. And I thought, no, I'll go there and at least I won't, because I could have used the valet, but I'm not going to use that with my old car.
Yeah.
So I parked and I go in there and I said, there's just anything here.
Yeah.
There's like food court type of stuff.
Yeah.
And I
It's
said, no, this is a dump.
very
So,
few offerings. Yeah, it's been so for a long time, but I still like to see it right there. It's on the best corner. I don't like the flamingo corner. I like the drop corner.
Yeah. It is a nice corner there. They got a good location.
You know, and I find it more fun when I get to drive when I do drive the strip. I find it more fun to pass by the drop corner.
Yeah.
Although the Flamingo corner of Las Vegas Boulevard and Flamingo is far more dense.
Yeah.
There's more to see,
there.
but
You're close to the Bellagio and the Paris. And
so
Caesars.
What's the fate of the Raiders?
Fuck them. No. I mean, it's funny. See,
Just Mark now.
Yeah, this is the curse of Oakland, right? Because the Raiders moved out, and they had this most expensive stadium ever built, at least on today's $1 billion or something.
Yeah.
And they didn't have any fans could get in.
Right.
The Warriors had moved out of Oakland, and they moved back to San Francisco. Of course, that's where they originally came from. And they also had a new arena, but they did have fans for a short time before they shut everything down, and then the team, which is normally good, finished dead last.
Yeah.
So that was the curse of Oakland.
Yeah.
So, but they did play UNLV which they don't deserve to play there. Sam Boyd Stadium is old and fallen down.
That for so long.
Yeah, and no, you don't need a Mountain West team that's a shitty Mountain West team to be playing in $1 billion stadium. They belong. Sam Boyd is too good for them.
Boyd is nice.
It's not a bad place. I saw a college football game there. It was one of the Las Vegas Bowl. They played at Sam Boyd Stadium. I saw the Real Madrid played a soccer exhibition.
Yeah.
They played at Sam Boyd Stadium. It was fine.
Yeah.
Parking lot was awful. But
do you not support? I know you support the Raiders as a professional team. Do you not support them as a business? Is that kind of where you are?
Well, I mean, I'm a when you're from New York, you either like, if you're baseball, you like the Yankees or the Mets. You don't like them both.
Right.
If you're Chicago, you like the Cubs or the White Sox.
Mom, I'll call you right back. Okay. Okay, I'll call you right back. Bye. I will take that out.
How is Mom doing?
Mom is fine.
She got both of her shots?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I figured.
Not easy to get them, but we got them.
Yeah.
Oh, man. But I'm sorry.
No. So you're either a Cubs fan or a White Sox fan. You're not both.
Okay.
In Bay Area, you're either a Giants fan or an A's fan. You're a 49er fan or a Raider fan.
Yeah.
So I was always on the San Francisco side of the Bay. I never liked the Raiders. So even when they were good, and they've been good they were good for a long time.
Yeah.
When they played the Steelers, those great matchups.
Oh, yeah.
Steelers fan. Well, my dad was from Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
So I wanted the Steelers to win. The Chiefs, always liked the Chiefs. Why? Because they were the Raiders' rival.
Yeah.
So I don't like that part of it, and the fact that I don't like where they built their stadium. Now we haven't seen. Now we had talked about this before.
Yeah.
What is going to happen on game day when they have, what does it hold, 60,000? I mean, when they have all these people, and we know that the Raider fan. I mean, you're one of the unusual Raider fans to me, because usually they're the rough and tumble type.
Yeah, I've been a Raider fan my whole life.
Yeah.
I just, I have always loved him. I loved him back in the days of Kenny Stabler and Jim Plunkett.
And I go back to Darryl LaMonica. Remember when he was a quarterback?
Yeah, and
they're all dead now.
And to me, the best punter alive, Ray Guy.
Ray Guy was a great punter.
And
Coffin corner, he invented it.
Yeah, and they were back in the days. I liked them really more back in the days when they played football and didn't worry about their paycheck.
With John Madden was the
head course. And you had people. Oh gosh, I mean Art Shell and Lyle Alzado came over from the Broncos, and
you had Fred
Blitnikoff, and it was this wonderful time, and all the way through, and I enjoy them now, but I think they've been uprooted, and I don't know, the business of football is what I don't like.
Yeah.
And I don't know how it's going to go. I mean, I've been to the stadium. And it's a breathtaking facility. It just is. It's worth going there, not seeing anything.
Yeah. And that's where it's wasted on Raider fans. I mean, the fact they have like a museum there.
Yes.
Come on, they're Raider fans, and you're taking away really what is pretty much sacred to football fans, which are the tailgate party.
Yeah.
A lot of people go just for that. It's very elaborate.
Yeah.
The tailgate. Oh, no, you can't have that. Well, do you know anything about football? It's part of the game.
I know, and
It's part of the ritual of going.
it's all ride share and no, there's no parking. So I mean, you're
Yeah.
going to be Ubering in if you can get an Uber,
Yeah.
because here the problem with Ubers and Lyfts and all the other places here is that they're making more money with unemployment, and so nobody's driving.
Oh,
It's hard to get an Uber.
Oh,
It's
is
really
that
hard.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. And so I'm sure that'll be over by the time the season, the full uninterrupted, uncovided, season starts. But I don't know. I don't know. And see, I went to a D-bats game recently,
Mm-hmm.
and I was so disappointed in how everything was app based, and you ordered I mean, you
Yeah.
didn't you didn't go up and get a beer and a hot dog,
Yeah.
and it was just a disappointment, and
And it costs as much as a ticket.
Oh my gosh,
practically,
yeah,
yeah.
so expensive. So I don't know. I want them to succeed. I really do. Because yeah, they need to be they need to be worth the stadium.
Yeah.
Whereas the Golden Knights
Yeah.
came in and killed it right away and
Yeah.
earned everything.
And
they
the
earned.
Golden Knights were, I mean, they were basically born here, right? I mean, they were an
Yeah.
expansion
Oh,
team.
yeah.
The only thing I will say about them to the Golden Knights fans is that, they've been spoiled. An expansion team is supposed to be shitty. That's the whole point. You get a bunch of old has-beens and young guys, but you're shitty for a few years. This is the hazing kind of goes in,
Right.
like pouring the gallon of cheap gin down somebody's throat. It's college hazing, right?
Right.
It's hazing. You have a shitty team for several years, and then you're all excited when you finally make the playoffs, and you get ousted right away.
Yeah.
But you made it after 5 or 6 years.
Right.
They
right.
never have to go through any of that. They made the Stanley Cup Finals the first year.
Right.
So, I mean, good thing you didn't win, because then what else is there to play for?
Sure.
Are you going to win again? Well, you already won it once, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm a longtime Sharks fan. They've had some really, really good teams. Never won the Stanley Cup, not yet, but we still have that to look forward to. Now they're in another rebuilding. It'll be a few more years before they're good again. But yeah, now we have. This is what irked me. Also, really pissed me off. Was we now have a professional hockey team in Henderson, right? The Golden Knights minor league team.
Right.
Henderson Silver Knights. They actually have a much better logo than the Golden Knights, which is a stupid name anyway. Silver Knights makes sense.
Yeah.
This is the Silver State. This is the Silver State.
I wish I was in that room that day, but
yeah. This is the Silver State, the Silver Knights. They got a cool logo. Everything's good. So they tore down the pavilion. It was kind of a landmark there. In
Right.
Henderson, we had a pavilion. It had the white tent. It blew down in a windstorm. They never put it back up. It was just a frame. So they tore it down. They're building a sports arena there.
Yes.
for the minor league hockey to hold,
yeah.
I forget, 10,000. But then they'll also have other events. So yeah, what's it going to be like? I mean, it's right across from the library. Is it going to be tough to get in and out? And we'll worry about that later. But the naming rights come out.
Mm-hmm.
It is now called the Dollar Loan Center.
Oh no.
Yes, it's the Dollar Loan Center. I mean, there is a Dollar Loan Center. It's not the Dollar Loan Center.
Yeah.
Right. It's because they have these loan sharks. See, they would have been fine for the minor league for San Jose Sharks.
Yeah.
Because there's a relationship there
Sure.
between these payday
Oh, they're
loan
extortionists. Yeah.
They're extortionists. So now it's called the Dollar Loan Center. They're actually going to have one inside
Oh no.
the building, and they're now saying the official short-term lender of the Henderson Golden Knights.
Oh,
The official one. You don't want to go to any unofficial
Yeah.
loan shark
Oh,
to get your So you can go there, and see, this is the thing though. If it were like the Raiders, I can understand. You might need to take out a loan to buy a couple beers and the hot dog. Because I went in San Francisco.
A title loan
Yes.
for a burger.
Yeah, I bought a beer, one beer and a bottle of water, and it was $18. Right? I thought, holy shit. For a bottle of water, what was it? The beer was $12. I thought, well, okay, well, it's a good beer, But then,
No, it wasn't.
then I went to a really nice place. So Las Vegas is the Aviators. They had the nicest. It was voted the nicest minor league baseball park in the country.
Yeah.
Great. I went out there, saw a game.
Yeah.
So I saw a playoff game, and it was like $15 or $30.
Huh.
And the beer there was only $10. Same beer. Same beer. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad. I'm really heartened to see all of the things happening here. And if our community, if the Las Vegas permanent community can conduct ourselves correctly, we can get our visitors back, and then hopefully we can teach the visitors how to conduct themselves correctly.
Yeah.
But I think it's exciting, and I think like you and I said a year ago, we've tempered our answers to this question for 12 months.
Yeah.
Is it time? Is it time? Is it time? Well, my last question to you for today's podcast: is it time?
Almost.
Yeah,
I'm thinking like when Resorts World opens. I think after June 1st to be again, but as we get into for a short time, we're gonna have this COVID around, unfortunately, for a while longer.
We are.
Until we get to the herd immunity.
I think we're gonna be wearing masks till 22.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah, and I mean, they were saying now the CDC may say that for fully vaccinated people, they may not have to wear masks. But how are you going to know? You're going to wear a badge?
Yeah, I know.
Or something like that. They say, I have got both of my shots. Dye your hair a certain color. That would be fun. Yeah, just dye your hair a certain color.
That would be wonderful.
Yeah, we need to see. I'm waiting for the next generation of zombie, the evolution of the zombie coming from the slow zombies of George Romero's, Night of the Living Dead to the 28 Days Later. Boy, they could run fast. Right? Yeah. To the ones where we're immune because we've had the 2 shots.
Yeah.
So, I've had the shot, so they can't, our meat tastes bad to them or something.
Well, Dave Bautista it's coming out relatively soon. Zack Snyder's, I think he produced it and helped direct. The Army of the Dead.
Oh yeah,
and that's coming out, and it's solely based here.
Oh
so
yes,
we'll
that's
see.
right.
We'll see how they do.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Many of the trailers remind me of current and past Vegas.
Yeah. Maybe that's it, because George Romero is making a political statement. With what was it, Day of the Dead?
Yes.
With the shopping malls, and they've reverted back to the mentality of what they were when they were alive. And they just flock to the malls.
Yes.
So maybe it's they got to go in there. So there's got to be somebody there. And you see, that's the other thing. There's got to be an old hotel where they still have the slot machine with the actual arm that you pull, because that's that motion. That motion instead of just pressing a button. That's the other thing. The place loses. They don't have the cups anymore. I still have a collection of the old casino cups.
The plastic cups. Yeah.
And the coins and the sound.
Oh yeah.
They got to pump that sound in there.
Those big dollar coins.
Yes, and now it just.
I know.
Yeah, it's just shit like that. That's not its sound. Come on.
That's funny.
That's what people want. They want to hear the sound of the coins dropping in the.
I absolutely do. They can include that sound along with the sound of the cockfighting.
Yes, the cockfighting, and even when at the Venetian, when we first opened, they actually had a nickel slot machine in the Venetian, and a guy hit a jackpot there, which means he won like $200.
Right.
And he came to the desk with one of those milk cartons that you have, right? And in there, it was loaded. It was 2 layers deep of just cups of those. The casino cups loaded to the brim with nickels. Oh I think must have weighed about 50 pounds. He wanted to store it.
That's
where do I store this? And he was hammered too. He'd been sitting there drinking, and I said, go to the bell desk.
Over there.
Over there. Guest services. Put a cover on them so they're not in there taking a handful of nickels.
That's funny. So we're saying full steam ahead.
Full steam
for
ahead.
June,
July, something like one of those months starts with a J.
So when it's hottest here.
Yes, a World of Cement coming back.
Right, World of Concrete.
Concrete.
Yes.
Concrete. World of Concrete, and they also have I was a little disappointed in it. The boring company, Eli Musk company. They dug the tunnel, the tube, the boring. They bored a tunnel, and I had thought it was going to be like a precursor to the high-speed rail that they were going to use. They're going to zip people through there.
Right.
Well, it's going to be self-driving cars, Tesla vehicles, but for now, it's going to be a person behind the wheel.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it looks cool driving through, almost like a ride at Disneyland. You got this tunnel or this tube, but it's just a car driving you through there. I wanted to see that.
It's still cool.
Yeah, magnetic railway where it kind of floated on. That's what I thought it was going to be.
Maglev would be nice.
Boom, there and boom, coming back.
Have you ridden the bullet train?
In Japan?
In Japan?
Oh, yeah, a lot. It's great.
Is it wonderful? Yeah.
It's wonderful. I mean, anytime, I remember I did a teaching gig for Japan Steelworks. And the reason I did it was because the summers over there were miserable for me. High heat and high humidity and rainy and nasty. But the nicest place in Japan that gets away from that is Hokkaido,
Okay.
the island, the northern island is Sapporo.
Yeah.
Well, 1 week I could teach in the summer was at their compound in Hokkaido. So we're outside of Sapporo. So I said, great, I'll do that. Well, there's, you gotta go through the sweatshop first. Well, what's that? You got to spend a week in Hiroshima. Well, it's even worse than Tokyo for the summer heat because it's farther south. All right, I'll do that. Well, we'll fly you down to Hiroshima. It's an hour. No, I don't want to take a plane. I'm going to take the train. It's 6 hours by train. I mean, even though it does go 150 miles an hour at points, but it's got to stop along the way. But it's just fun. Sure. I mean, it's very comfortable, and they've got, they stop at a station for 5 minutes or whatever. Every station has its own specialty food from that area of Japan.
Okay.
So, and then there's usually a teenage girl comes on pushing the cart, selling whatever it was. You can buy beer, nut, peanuts, whatever. Now, this was back in the day before we had streaming services or anything like that.
Right.
So but it was very comfortable. It left on time, and it got there when it said it was. Oh, it says it's going to take, it's going to arrive at 2:03. It got there at 2:03.
Yeah.
And so, yes, and that was highlights. It always took the train whenever I could outside of Tokyo.
Well, John, it's good to see you after all this time.
Good seeing you too. I got a year older, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, so. I know. But for those of you who stuck with us, sorry for the lengthy delay. We will be back to a regular schedule here in just a few of our podcasts. We'll got to get back. But also tune in to our Invisible Maybe podcast, and we're going to be talking about a whole bunch of things that are not Las Vegas. So technology and what works and what doesn't, and just things that we want to talk about as far as life is concerned. But again, thank you for being fans. Thank you for all your questions. If you have any thoughts, I'd love to hear about what people think about Resorts World's concept. So let us know. Email us.
Or if you're going to go.
Or if you're going to go. Yeah, I'd love to hear that for sure. Catch us on all the social media, Twitters and Facebooks and whatever you wish. But let us know. We'd like to sort of take a poll as far as our listeners and visitors. But thank you again. Sorry for the delay. We're going to get back to business. For John, this is Jamey, and we will see you very soon.